There's a pretty cool scene in The 13th Warrior with the actor Antonio Banderas. He plays the hero, and one of the Vikings gives him a heavy sword. And he realizes that it's way too heavy for him to use. And the Viking just tells him, grow stronger. Strong first, the school of strength, knows kettlebells. So do I. My name is Luca. I am a Strong First elite instructor as well as a team leader here in Canada with Strong First, the school of strength. I've been working with my mentor, Pavel Tsatsouline, now for over 10 years. I've made strength training and kettlebells my passion and my dream to follow people and master instructors around the world. I've taken many courses from Pavel Tsatsouline, and throughout the years, I've learned some important key lessons. I'm here to give you a debrief and a short explanation on his 3 courses: Plan Strong, Strong Endurance, and Second Wind seminars. I first took Plan Strong in 2015 in Italy with Fabio Zonin and Pavel Tsatsouline. This course literally blew my mind. Pavel is a genius. The course was so intellectual, it was like a workout for my brain. I had to bring a calculator, a pencil, and some paper. The whole 2 days, we talked about numbers and math. The premise of the program is basically built around the Soviet weightlifting methodology. Soviets in the 1950s discovered that the waviness of the load give much more superior results. Why? Because many of the lifters back in the day, their records are still unbroken today. Pavel studied the plants from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. He says if you want to get strong or stronger, go back in the past in order to go to the future. By the way, Back to the Future is one of his favorite movies. If we look at progressive overload, which means that the weights or the variables, they increase in a linear fashion, in the Plan Strong we use variable load, meaning that the weights and the intensity don't really change for 8 to 12 weeks. So intensity is a percentage of your 1 rep max. The best intensity for strength is around 75% of your 1 rep max. So in Plan Strong, we use many intensities and we use several ways to wave the load. I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but it almost looks like a random plan when you look at it. It's really hard to see a pattern that makes sense. So some weeks the trainee can train 3 times a week, the following week it'd be 4, and the following week could be even 2 or up to 5. The volume changes at least 20% or more or less from week to week and from month to month. We use low volume, medium, and high volume programs. And in designing a 4-week course could take several hours. That's how detailed it is. So my takeaway from this course was that progressive overload is not the only way to make progress. It works super well, but there's another way. And that's taken from the Soviet weightlifting methodology. It can be compared to Boris Shaiko's powerlifting plans. So if you want to learn more, check out the seminar Plan Strong by Strong First. During the seminar, I asked Pavel a question. I asked him, how long rest should you take between sets? And Pavel's reply was, take your time. I pondered his answer like a Japanese poem. What does he mean? Pavel is really all about simplicity. So just take it for face value. Take your time. Because at Strong First, quality matters. So recovery is really important. Pavel usually recommends for most of his programs 3 to 5 minute rest or sometimes longer. But sometimes, if you're in a crunch, or if the weight is light, or if you want hypertrophy, you can condense the rest period. So take your time. Before we continue, this video is brought to you by the Kettlebell Club. At kettlebellclub.shop, we provide really high quality training tools. Get your kettlebell today and grow stronger. The second course I took by Pavel, Strong Endurance, is a compilation of at least 2 years of Pavel studying the metabolic effects of endurance training. Pavel discusses the metabolic events that lactic acid has on the body. He went deep within the hood of the cell to really understand what happens during most type of endurance training. He studied the processes of energy expenditure and energy savings. And he realized that the lactic acid can really have a negative impact on the body if used incorrectly. Because if you're training and you suddenly develop a lot of glycolysis, lactic acid in your body, you will definitely slow down and your performance will suffer. It can also create free radicals that can turn into cancerous cells. So why not train in a way that avoids that completely? Pavel studied the teachings of Professor Yuri Veroshansky. Professor Veroshansky is really famous for developing loaded plyometrics. He's also famous for another well-known method, which is anti-glycolytic training. ATG was born in the 1980s during the Soviet era. Professor Vereshchansky, being a scientist, performed many experiments with top-level athletes. He had many breakthroughs in many sports. He developed even more powerful athletes with his methods of training. So this is mainly how to train and recover the most efficiently to be at a high performance, depending on your sport. Pavel took these methods and applied them to what we do at Strong First. So now we use them with kettlebell ballistics, such as swings or snatches, to develop high endurance performance in athletes. But just because athletes use it doesn't mean you can't benefit. The simplicity of kettlebells makes it so that anyone can do these programs. So during the seminar, the first half is very scientific and technical. Now, biology is not my forte, chemistry neither, but it was really interesting to learn and to study with Pavel. He also took us through several protocols that he designed, such as 033 and 044. Those plans turned into the book, The Quick and the Dead. If you want to learn more about strong endurance, I highly recommend you read The Quick and the Dead by Pavel Tsatsouline. It's a summarized, simplified version of strong endurance. However, Pavel really demystifies high-intensity interval training and its real application. High-intensity interval training means that the exercise does have to be quite intense. Usually for this to happen, it's for a short duration of time. When you see programs that take you through longer intervals, like 30, 45 seconds or a minute, it's not that intense. So make sure when you do HIIT that you're pushing yourself almost to the limit for a short duration of time. Tabata protocol, if you do it correctly, is exactly that. But there are better ways and more sustainable ways to design a program and to get results. The key is in the recovery. The exercise has to be so intense that it can maintain its quality and its speed. The recovery has to be enough so you're able to maintain it for a long duration of time. So if you're training and doing a program and you suddenly slow down, you're not training the same quality and the same thing. That's why a lot of programs from Strong Endurance promote anti-glycolytic training. ATG is meant to avoid lactic acid. I'll give you an example. Let's say you do 5 kettlebell swings every minute on the minute. They can be heavy since it's only 5. Now 5 swings takes about 7 or 8 seconds. So if you rest for the rest of the minute, you're resting about 50 seconds or a bit more. And that's plenty of time to recover from the hard set of 5 swings. So you could do this for 10, 15, 20 minutes or even up to an hour. Now applying the same Plan Strong methodology, you can change the amount of time you train every session. That's a really cool part I learned from Pavel Tsatsouline, is emphasize recovery and avoid lactic acid for strong endurance. The third seminar I took from Pavel is Second Wind. Now in combination with the strong endurance, Second Wind complements it really well. Second Wind uses breathing techniques and relaxation methods to really promote recovery very efficiently and quickly. So Pavel uses several breath hold techniques, actually quite a lot. He gives you many techniques and ways to be able to relax under stressful conditions. You gotta realize that training is a stress on the body, and when you're performing something intense or hard, sometimes it's challenging psychologically as well as physically. So you can train your mind as well as your body using breathing techniques and muscle relaxation ways to promote, like I said, better recovery. So for example, after your set of swings, you would use a breath hold technique or breathing technique that will help you recover and get ready sooner for your next set. Pavel taught me that when you're stressed, you have to first exhale. Because if you're breathing in and holding your breath, it promotes stress and the fight or flight mechanism in your nervous system. So you want to stay calm under stress and be in control at all times. So do the test yourself. You're going to inhale and hold your breath. What that does, it excites your body. It has a different purpose. If you're trying to relax, exhale right away. And if you want to be calm, exhale right away. Try to exhale much slower, as slow as you can. So the technique works like this. Perform a hard exercise, a stressor, and after you're done, exhale right away. And try to prolong the exhale as long as you can. Take a deep breath. And let out a sigh of relief. Do it this way. Do this for a few breaths after, for example, swings, sprints, or any hard exercise. After that, breathe through your nose. Breathing through your nose has been known to regulate carbon dioxide in the body and promote more oxygen consumption in the tissue, such as your brain. It's going to deliver the oxygen throughout other muscles or tissues for you to convert that into more energy. So make sure you breathe through your nose all the time, even throughout the day. Breathing techniques also help operators, paramilitary, military officers that have to perform for their job. Another great way to recover under stressful situation is called box breathing. The way it works is like this. You're gonna breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and hold again the exhale for 4 seconds. So you inhale, hold, exhale, hold, and then repeat the cycle. So let's try it together. It's just so relaxing. Later, aim for greater numbers, such as 4x5. Start with 4x4, then go to 4x5. The box breathing technique for instant relaxation, calm, and control. You can also try this breathing technique if you're in a cold bath. So if you're into cold exposure, this is really cool too. In Second Wind, Pavel also talks about relaxation through fast and loose techniques. This is really key for turning the engine on and off very quickly. So what differentiates athletes from the regular trainee or the rest? So a high-level elite athlete basically is more efficient at muscle contraction and relaxation. Think of a runner or a sprinter. He goes faster because he can contract and relax more than the other person. Same thing goes for a strength athlete. He can deliver high levels of strength, and when he's done, he's gonna save energy by learning how to relax. And that's really key. It's about energy expenditure and energy recovery and savings. So we teach this at Strong First as well. These are fast and loose techniques, and usually start with your hands. You shake your hands, you can alternate, you increase the amplitude, and the jiggle, you're trying to jiggle the muscle so it relaxes, irradiates throughout the body, throughout your arm, throughout your shoulders, and then you move different parts of your body. Then I move my shoulders, then I move my hips, then I shake my legs, then I shake my feet, and then I do a little boxer's jump, and then I relax. If you look at boxers, martial artists, any type of martial artist or even athlete is very efficient at this.
A great way to think about strength training, like Steve Bakari put it really well, putting money in the bank to spend it on the fight night.
So Pavel is a genius. He brings together program design, endurance, and strength, and also recovery in all of his teachings. Pavel is a genius, he's an intellectual, and he's extremely knowledgeable. If you're curious about one of these courses, I highly recommend that you take one of them. You can also start by reading books or articles by Strong First or by Pavel Tsatsouline. It's been my pleasure to give you my debrief on Pavel Tsatsouline's latest work.